Hello everyone, welcome to the stream. Alright, today we're going to fly from Australia to New Guinea. We're going to bug out, we're going to get the heck out of here. It's only 160 kilometres to New Guinea from the tip of Australia. We've got about 50 kilometres to go till we get to the tip, so maybe it's about a 200 kilometre flight. Probably about 2 hours, probably about 1 hour and 10 minutes, I reckon, before we can find an airfield in New Guinea to land. I've just downloaded a 15 gigabyte update for this bloody sim. Hopefully everything's going to work. I don't know what all the buttons are and stuff. We'll be hopefully on our way soon. Minutes in and already what looks like some spam. Alright, let's see now. That's way too... that's not good. Have to be very gentle on the controls. Let's just do a quick familiarization of the cockpit. Fuel, that's the important one right there. Now, I wanted full fuel. What the heck? That looks like I've got half fuel. Are we going to make it on half fuel? Yeah, we'll make it. Alright, let's go. Alright, so the next thing is... Alright, so we got a compass up here. Looks like we're going about 80 degrees. I want to be going 0, 0 or 360. Probably along the coast. just joined us, we're escaping Australia in a Cessna 152. We're going to New Guinea. It's probably about 200 kilometres journey, I assume. We're going to find out, right? There's the airfield that I took off from. We'll head out to the coast and then we'll turn right and we'll go north. Hello in the chat. It looks fantastic. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good. You can also see outside. There we go. That's where we're headed over there. We have to travel in that direction, 200 kilometres. I think I have a map as well. Let's try that out. Alright, so I press V to get the map. Is the north of Australia. And we're going here to this area. This is New Guinea, up in New Guinea. We're just going to go across here, following these islands here. We're going to island hop, and we're going to escape. Escape! Ha 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 ha! Alright, back in the cockpit. Oh, we got the beach coming up. Better check the engine. I'm looking for 2300 RPM. You can cruise along at 24 or 25, it's no problems, just you'll burn through the fuel very quickly. Alright, the plane's pretty stable. I haven't trimmed her out or anything. So we're going to follow the coast pretty soon going north. Do not open window above 143 knots IAS. Crocodiles down there. Alright, let's turn north. Let's get the frick out of here. Seems to be lifting up a bit. Might want to trim her out. We'll see. We'll see. There's also the question of mixture. What I want to do with the mixture. Alright, let me check my watch. So we've got a good hour's worth of flying. What's our speed? Speed is 100 knots, basically 95 knots. It's about 180 kilometres an hour. We have about 200 kilometres to travel, I believe. I haven't measured the distance, but I think I remember across the water from Google Earth is 160 kilometres. And then from this airport that I just took off from to the beginning of the end, like to the very tip of Australia up there, is probably, this is where I'm guessing, it's probably 50 kilometres. So maybe in total we have about 210 kilometres to go, and this thing does 185 kilometres an hour. So it's going to be just over an hour, maybe an hour and 10 minutes. Provided nothing goes wrong. You have enough room in the back there. You've got a weight and balance limitation, but you can put your puppy dog in the back there, your woof woof. Tried to fly airliners. Yeah. Although this plane is more favourite to me for some reason. Look at that, we've got a nice big river there. That's a huge river. Wow. Again, lots of crocodiles around here and sharks. Guess we should actually just check the compass. That would be a good idea, wouldn't it? It says we're going 25 degrees. 25 degrees. What's the local time? I think it's about 2 o'clock. 2:15. Want to be going 25 degrees? Well, yeah, I'll just follow the coast. Can't go wrong. It's not rocket surgery. It's escape surgery. Welcome everybody. Please kindly smash the thumbs up. We're escaping the frick out of Australia. It should be about an hour and 10-minute journey to Papua New Guinea. We have the moon and the sun up there. Check the compass, 25 degrees. Maybe, so I think the range of this plane is about 500 kilometers, and I just heard some thunder. That's not good. It all looks fine though. I think it's 500 kilometer range, and we're going to go about 210 or 250 kilometers in total, by my guess. So we should be all right. We should be fine, but we're travelling with half fuel. Half fuel. I specifically selected in the pre-game full fuel, and now it's given me what looks to be half fuel in each tank. That's pretty shitty, Microsoft. That's pretty shitty. Is it just me, or are we getting lower? Getting a bit lower. What's my altitude? 490 feet, sort of thing. It's not quite high enough. Speed's good though. I need to trim her up a bit. Whoa. Trim is too sensitive. Below, yeah, I want to be a bit higher than this. We're flying in very kind of hot conditions, becoming tropical, so the performance is going to be terrible. I wonder if I should lean out the mixture. It's probably preset perfectly, but it says 73%. That's already lean enough. It's the new joystick. It's good. It's good. There is a problem in this situation right now with everything being too sensitive and twitchy, but that's the fault of the game, not the joystick. The new joystick in this game, in comparison to the old joystick in this game, is just brilliant. Alright, hopefully we're going to lift a little bit now. Got a fairly distinctive livery there. Nice, yeah. Big clouds on the horizon. I can hear thunder, but I can't see a damn thing of thunder, so... Biggest problem is probably going to be our weather. That and the crocodiles. Whoa. Just me, or is the weather closing in? Out here, thunderstorms are regular occurrences. You're in an area with very dynamic atmosphere. So we could be in for a rough ride, or it could be smooth sailing. Expect the unexpected. Microsoft, why you gotta do me like this? They give me half fuel. What does that actually say? 50 in pounds, 50 pounds. And then the lower scale, 6, 12, 18 is probably in gallons. Alaskan winter, yeah, that's a good idea. That's some real bush pilot kind of flying. And even frozen lakes and so on. Alaska and Canada, they have some amazing kind of bush flying and frozen lakes, or lakes that you can land a float plane on and all sorts. I have about 8 gallons in each tank, which is about 32 litres in each tank. So maybe I'll say I've got 65 litres, and this thing burns 20 something litres an hour. I think it's 23 litres an hour. So that's about 2.5 hours or more of flying. So that shouldn't be a problem, should it? 2.5 hours at 95 knots, although that's decreasing now. 2.5 hours at about 100, I don't know, 100, just to be cautious, we'll say 160 kilometres an hour. So I should be able to go 320 plus 80 400. I should be able to go 400 kilometres with the fuel that I've got, provided nothing bad happens. And that's probably a conservative estimate. Provided nothing bad happens. There's another huge lake. We're still in Australia. We're flying up the coast. We're going roughly north. We're getting the heck out of here. Off to New Guinea. Off to New Guinea and freedom. And malaria and sharks and crocodiles. Look at that big ocean. You'd do well if you had a yacht, wouldn't you? You just cruise along in your yacht. Very serene. Cruise along in your yacht, maybe have a solar panel or 3. I think I can see in the distance there. I don't know what I can see actually. I wonder if I can even see New Guinea from here. Presently we're going to come to the northern tip of Australia. And then we'll keep flying north, and there's a few islands up there. And we'll island hop until we get to New Guinea. It's 160 kilometres of island hopping once we get to the tip of Australia. Who knows if we're going to make it or not? Let's try it. Oh, did you see that? I reckon I saw a lightning bolt in the distance there, which is a bit crazy because there's not really any cumulonimbus or anything. I swear I caught a lightning bolt, a glimpse of it, just there. Yeah, look at that. So I've probably got some simplistic clouds turned on or something, so it doesn't quite look like how it actually looks, you know. Thursday Island is a good spot. Sounds good to me. I bet you they've got coconuts there, I can drink some. Wow, look at that. If there's any problem, I can just about swim to shore. Not the worst place to land if you run out of fuel. Great name for an island. Many of them. We could be in for a bad thunderstorm experience. So far we're okay. The atmosphere is still. I can definitely see some kind of something up there. Might be a real need to actually stop at one of those islands. I have no idea what kind of infrastructure they have there, if any, how big the islands are or anything. Check of everything. Compass. Still doing 25 degrees. That's good. Our altitude's 2,000. That's much more healthier. We were at less than 500 feet before. Speed, it's dropped a bit. We're now at 85 knots indicated instead of 95 knots. Should be able to cruise at 95 knots. I don't know. I'm happy to stay at 2 grand and just do 85. Quantity, well, that's sort of whatever it is. Oil temperature and pressure is good. I've turned the beacon on. Do I want to turn anything else on? Actually, I'll turn the beacon off because I'm escaping. What else? Trimmed out pretty well. Got the old school thingo here. That's, carby heat if it ices over. It'll reduce the RPM. I don't know if I should do that or not. If the engine starts degrading in performance. Well, we're going a bit slower. What's the RPM? 22.5. Let me just try the carby heat for a bit. It's going to reduce the RPM, but apart from that, we're all good. I'll do that for a couple of minutes. What that's going to do is if there's any ice built up in the carburetor due to refrigeration, the carburetor gets lots of hot air blown into it, which melts the ice, if there is any there. While that's happening, you can see your engine RPM drop a little bit because the air going into the engine's hotter and thinner and less good. Only on this bird is the shotgun in the baggage. Well, that's the baggage area there. I think you can fit 40 or 50 kilos there, provided it's not too far backwards. I'll take a big bore elephant gun with me and go hunting for wild boar in the forests. I'll take a 70 caliber 2-shot elephant rifle and I'll shoot me a wild boar and feast on it. I'd also take some kind of beverage. Maybe just water. That's the thing out here, you really want some clean water. Maybe something with quinine in it to avoid the malaria. Alright, before I forget, let's turn the carby heat back off. Turn that back on. Any change in the power or the speed? I swear the RPM dropped off a bit. I'll have to just increase it. No autopilot, so we are now climbing a little bit, so I'm gonna have to just trim her down just a tad. Singing a 152. Hey man, I'd just about do it in a canoe. I honestly think you could do it in a canoe. 160 kilometers, but you've got islands along the way. I think you could probably, what do I know, right? But as long as the weather's good and blah, blah, blah. Especially, what about if you had like an outrigger canoe with a sail on it, and if you knew where the wind was going and it was going the right way, it could be quite a pleasant journey. You wouldn't even need to paddle. Well, lo and behold, I reckon we're getting potentially closer and closer. To me, this looks like it could be... I'll check the map in a tick. We've got some kind of an atoll up there. In the very north tip of Australia, in the state of Queensland, in far north Queensland. Let's guys do it in a tinny. Yeah, I could see that. You'd want a pretty good tinny, but yeah, for sure. Tinnies are not to be underestimated. There you go. We are doing pretty well. I really wish the map could zoom out more because it doesn't give you a proper picture of the whole area and stuff. There's Tasmania, there's Melbourne, Sydney around here somewhere, Brisbane here somewhere, and then here's us. We took off from this one here, right here. And this distance here, by my reckoning, is 160 kilometres across here. So we have now we can get a good look at it. We've got some islands there. Pretty spectacular scenery. Looks like the colour of rust. I wonder if there's a lot of iron ore around here. I think I'm slightly off course. Check the compass. 330. Yeah, we want to be going north. We're now at nearly 3,000 feet. We're doing 95 knots. We're doing well now. Might just trim the nose down slowly. While you're there, pick up some kava, please. I think that's the drink. Yeah, I'll have to try some. This game is amazing. Yeah, it's alright. It's pretty good. It has some flaws, but yes, it's pretty good. One of the flaws is you can't have just one person in the plane. You have to have two. And there's no pilot in the list that looks remotely like me, so I don't like that at all. But yeah, and there's a few other things too. If this was, well, it is real, so I'm probably just not looking for them, but I bet you there'd be some shipwrecks around here somewhere. shipwrecks. Probably have some shipwrecks here and there, both old and newer. Everyone's been sailing around here. The Dutch were sailing around here in the 1600s or the 1500s. The pirates of this region and the fishermen sailing around since the beginning of time. Do some wing walking. They should make that an optional feature. You can like press F1 and they jump out and do wing walking. So there's that atoll. I'm slowly getting closer to it. Or whatever it is, that thing. And that looks like our first island up there. And this looks like the end of continental Australia. Complete with thunderstorm. Hopefully it's not a problem. Getting the hang of all the controls and stuff. So we're basically on the horizon as far as we can see. We have cloud, 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 cloud. Cloud everywhere. And thunderstorm. Past 3,000 feet. We're still doing about 90 knots indicated. That'll do me. I might just trim the nose down slightly a bit more. Just a tad. .90 knots. 2,300 RPM. 6 gallons of fuel in each wing tank. Jolly good. Jolly good, chaps, jolly good. Gotta be honest with you, I'll take this over airline flying. This is much more appealing to me than airline flying. There's nothing romantic about modern day airline travel. Not even, I don't think, if you're flying in one of the better classes, upper class, business class. The only way modern day airline travel could be good again is if they use Zeppelins. This here is, at least it has a dash of romanticism to it. Let's check the map. Alright. So we've been going from down here and we're already here. That's about 50 kilometres in my book, maybe even more. And then we're going to go across here, 160 kilometres, in my opinion. I'll have to plan out the route a little bit more in detail. Maybe just to go over all the islands and stuff for safety. We're currently at 3,250 feet, doing 90 knots. I'm excited. Wow, look at that. What could that be from? Looks like an interesting feature. Made some pretty good tracks so far. We're getting along at a 90 knot gait. That's not slow, that's about 170 kilometers an hour. This landscape. Very, very sunburnt landscape. Great southern land, yeah. The plane is pretty reliable, it has enough fuel, it's fast enough. I don't think we're going to get hit by a thunderstorm or anything. But I do want to apologise ahead of schedule if anything goes wrong with the stream, which is possible, like the stream might break, the bloody game might crash or something like that. That's the real danger on this flight. What do we got here then, eh? I bet you they don't have a McDonald's down there. That thunder's getting louder. You can see our islands coming into view up here. I think if this was real life, you would get quite a few sea vessels around here. I don't know what you would get, but I bet you'd get some kind of sea-going vessels floating around here and there. Whereas in the game it's kind of sterile. That's the thing, when you get up in a plane like a Cessna and you go for a fly, you look down at the beach and you see things. You see a big crocodile sunbaking in the sun down there on the white sand. And if you get scared from the engine noise, you might waddle into the water for a bit. Or you see a big wreck of a ship, like a big rusty wreck on the beach there that's been there for 100 years. Or you might see a big tanker floating across here, or a yacht, or 2 or 10 or 20 yachts. Maybe fishing vessels, probably indigenous vessels, maybe some canoes and tinnies, that kind of thing. So it'd be a pretty living environment, but this is a bit sterile, I reckon. Oh well. I could be wrong, it could be totally empty. Alright, so looks like the plane's picking up some turbulence. Is that just my imagination? Yeah, we got some turbulence. We're basically at 3,300. We're making good speed. Everything's good. Bit of turbulence though. That's very mild turbulence, actually. In this kind of plane, you'd be rocking and rolling all over the place on a standard day. Interesting thing up here, we have some air vents. Yeah, you just pull them out by hand. I wonder if I can do... You can even pull them right out, I think. And one of them... But I don't think this is modelled. No. That's better. You press spacebar and you can do that. So I'll do that. Much more better. So an interesting feature, if you want to know some temperatures, you can look at this thing. According to that, I can't really read it fully. Maybe I can. I don't really do Fahrenheit, but in Celsius or whatever, it looks to be 21 degrees. 21 degrees in Celsius. That's bloody good, actually. That's not bad at all. I wonder if that's true. I would expect it to be more like 30 degrees. But again, what do I know? "3,000 feet. You lose 2 degrees for every 1,000 feet, so maybe it'd be 6 degrees less. Just say it's 35 degrees down there. You'd expect it to be about 29. I don't know. Alright, so, I mean, you can see the coast of Australia sort of goes along out there. Possibly what I'm looking at there is the very tip. Probably can confirm that on the chart. And then you got that there. Look at that, eh? Welly, 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 well. It's quite mountainous, actually, that island. I was expecting it for some reason to be more flatter than that. That's got a few hills on it. Welly, welly, well. Quick check of the chart. Yeah. Yeah, so that... Whoop, whoop. So that's the tip there, I guess. That's sort of there. This, or this here. So I guess I'll fly over this island. So I want to fly over this. I want to play it fairly safe. I don't want to just sort of like go gallivanting over more kilometres than I need to. Like if I go up to here and then to here and then back to here and then up to here and then out to there, then like out to here and stuff and back down to here and everything, then I'll probably run out of fuel, which is a no-no. That's a no-no. So I'll go from here to here, I think, maybe straight across to here, or maybe veer off to here and here. I don't know. Could go straight ahead. It's like a pretty big river just here, 2 of them. Wow. That's as far as I can zoom out. Whoa, look at that river there. That's massive. Another massive river here. There's rivers everywhere. Back to here, the pitch hasn't changed at all. What this island is. Could it be a Guinea mine? Do they mine ancient bat dung? Could it be a leper colony? I bet you they don't have McDonald's on this island. Could it be a secret hideout for pirates? Buccaneers. It's a bit like Jurassic Park to me. What do you think? We got enough fuel left? This is Prince of Wales Island. Nice. Yeah, they got an assortment of islands out here. So we got, what do we got? We got our Thursday Island, Prince of Wales Island. How's the fuel? It's not getting any bigger. It's not going down too much either. I think it's about 23 litres per hour that this plane uses. So that's alright. My calculations, we should be fine. The only thing I'm not factoring in is the wind. If we've got a headwind, that's going to screw everything up big time. If it's a large enough wind component. Like, just say we got a 50 kilometre an hour headwind, that's going to F everything up big time. But that's unlikely. This plane, I mean, it's a light aircraft, but it's fairly heavy compared to other types of aircraft. Like if you're flying in an ultralight that weighs 100 I don't know, that weighs 200 kilograms or something. I mean, if you get in a headwind, you're screwed. But in a plane like this, it's made of metal, it's heavier, it's quite streamlined. You can kind of cut through a headwind a lot better than, say, an ultralight. Or dare I say, a biplane. So if you're trying to fly across here in a Fokker DR1 triplane, you'd be alright if you had a tailwind, but if you had a headwind, you'd be screwed. Alright, so here's our first island. Let's just check the compass. I want to go north, not 300, whatever that is, 345. So I'll just change course slightly. Very small movements on the control column. I'll have to try and dampen it down. I gotta say though, this joystick is so nice, very precise. Let's take a look back now as we leave Australia. Remarkable how this plane just eats up the kilometres. It really does a good job. Over there you have Africa, very, very far away. We've got some small islands out there. We haven't actually left Australia yet because that's the tip of the mainland right there. We're almost out of it though. Sure which is worse, landing on this kind of land or landing on the sea. Only what are your options? You could get a yacht and literally have the wind in your sails. Do I need to adjust the fuel tanks? It seems to be listing to the right a bit. What do we got down here? That's the fuel tap. Fuel tap is on. The fuel tap is on. There's no tank selector. Oh, that's nice and easy. Alright, it's good to check those things though. Yeah, what are your options? Basically, you'd want like a sailboat. That'd be pretty handy. Or you'd want a plane. Or maybe even a flying boat. A flying boat would be pretty good for this kind of stuff. Like, I'm not talking about a seaplane, although that'd be alright, but like an actual flying boat. Like a Catalina or a Grumman, something or other. Hughes Hercules, that'd be quite good. Fly around here in a Hughes Hercules. Fairly charming scenery in a way, I guess. Looks to be more or less completely deserted. I know it wouldn't be, it would not be completely deserted. There'd be all sorts of stuff here. There'd be some kind of mining or something. Or maybe a village or two. There's probably like a town somewhere. There's probably a town in the north and a town in the south or something like that. Is that a road? It's hard to tell. Yeah, there's a few roads. I can see a road there. We're still roughly in civilization, I would say. Not kind of like residential civilization, but like the odd town here and there that might be somewhat related to mining or something. I reckon the fuel's getting a little bit lower now. That's going to be the clincher. It really all rests on the fuel situation. We're slowly climbing. We're nearly at 4,000 now. I don't mind that. I want to have a bit of altitude so I can actually see where I'm going. It's good for navigation. Compass check. We're going, I don't know what that says actually. What on earth does that even say? I assume it says 10 degrees, but maybe it says 350 degrees, like, I don't know. Those kind of compasses. Do I have a directional gyro here? I haven't done it in ages. 10 degrees, there we go. Nice. When you least expect it, a 109 dives on your 6. All I could do would be open the window and shout, or spit, or wave my fists. Would be whatever, probably 1600 horsepower versus 110 horsepower. Going 10 degrees, is that what I want? You can see a lot of cloud on the horizon. It's quite good actually, for some reason. It looks good. I can see more terrain up there that again has some mountainousness to it. Or maybe like almost a mountain there or a giant hill. Fairly shaded kind of a cabin here. Really pretty comfortable to fly in a Cessna 152. A little bit cramped, of course, around the feet area, but apart from that, it's not too bad. We go over Wednesday, Thursday, Friday Islands now. So the mainland of Australia is disappearing. It's still fairly close on the right-hand side there. There's the tip there. And we've just gone over this big island here. And now we've got these ones here. That one. Oh, there's a town. Wow. Looks like they might have a cricket pitch. No, something. A couple of wind generators there. That's pretty nifty. They got a harbour there. That's where you can put your yacht. Quite good. Look at all these islands, wow. Big and small. Another town. I knew there'd be a few towns around here. Islands galore, wow. There's a building. There's a town here. Alright. We are on our way. lots of islands. That's Thursday Island. Well, the fishing would be pretty good around here. Some cumulus up there, towering cumulus by the looks of it. Slightly worrisome. Turbulence. Everyone drives around on golf carts on Thursday Island. That's hilarious. Good idea though. It's probably the ideal transport. That colour. It just says freedom, doesn't it? Look at all that. You know what? I think it's time for me to sell my house and buy a yacht. For real. Well, it wouldn't be so fun in a storm, but if it's like this, I mean, what more could you ask for? Alright, quick check of the compass and the map. And the directional gyro, because that makes more sense to me. We're going 35 now. Let's check the mappy. Well, hey. So I'll just go north again. So those two islands there. I want to kind of go there, but I think I'll on a subsequent flight, I'll fly over some volcanoes. Perhaps Krakatoa would be good to check out. Adventure, yeah. I think that's north. Looks like north. That looks like a volcano there. I don't know, I'm just... but kind of does, like it kind of sticks out. Very interesting. I have a cup of tea sitting on the bloody desk. I haven't even touched it. Time for a sip of tea. Bloody cold as well. Sailing, if you were on a good ship, then that would have been okay. Like a good ship with good morale, good provisions, good condition of the boat, good captain, good crew, good bloody first mate or whatever, like everyone good. Everyone from the captain to the cabin boy, everyone good, then it's good. But if you're on a bad ship, it would be hell. Because I think back then a good captain knew a few things, like how to avoid scurvy and how to navigate and that kind of thing. How to interact with the locals when they pulled up at a Hawaiian island or something. You know, these are proper skills that they had to have. Well, we're right on track and we're real into the meat and potatoes of it now. I don't really know what to expect. We're just going to try this out. Bloody Microsoft Flight Simulator gave me each tank of fuel half full, even though I selected 100% full, but I think I went back to make an adjustment and then it reverted back to default, which is, I don't know why, but they fill the tanks up with half fuel. Right. I think for the most part, and there were pirates, they would have mostly been more further north and west, where there's a greater concentration of shipping going around the world and stuff. Down here, the pickings for pirates would be quite slim. We're talking in the olden times, of course. Bang on track. The engine speed's good. There's a nice island and some palm trees on it. 90 knots, everything good, just not enough fuel. This one, it's even more mountainous. The further north we go, the more kind of potentially mountainous stuff we get jutting up around the place. Like that one there. But even there, there's that one there. There's that there. Maybe is that a cloud? I think it's a cloud. Just like a random cloud there. Random cloud. And where's the mainland? I think that's the tip of it there. Yeah, I think that's the tip there. Alright, we're really cruising along here. This is great. This is great. The pinnacle of 1970s personal air transport. It's a well-appointed plane, really. I mean, you've got like a lot of stuff here that is good, and it's all really good. You've got a thing there, you've got some stuff here. I mean, it's quite well appointed. You got like a stack of thingos there, that kind of thing there. Another thing there. Got some stuff here. Got heaps of. It's all even got like a thing there. So you even got a compass, eh? The pitot tube. Always check that before you take off. It's got a hole in the front. Make sure that there's no wasps or bees that have made their nests in there or something. Listen to some talkback. That would be hilarious. I think we'd be out of range of like those kind of talkback stations. is just a dream. The Aerobat's a good model of 152 because it has the roof, has the sunroof option. And I mean, it's really good. Like, if you're doing a loop-to-loop, you can just look up and you can see the ground. That's right, you can look up and see the ground because you're doing the loop. And that's what it's for. It's for aerobatics. But it's also good just for, I don't know. That's a good thing about high-wing aircraft is they give you lots of shade and lots of downward visibility. So if you're on a long journey, I mean, can you imagine being in a bubble canopy on a long journey in the tropics? You'd want to have some kind of shade over the top, like a Venetian blind that runs along the top of the bubble canopy or something. To me that says, I don't know what that says, 10, 15 degrees. What's the directional say? Nah, 345 degrees. You know what that means? It means we're a little bit off course maybe, but not really because I was off course before. So we got some cloud showing up here now. And some more greener looking islands maybe. Possibly the colours are changing a bit now. That serene sea. I keep expecting to see a big battleship like a USS Enterprise or a Yamamoto or something, one of these big aircraft carriers from World War II. They weren't quite that far down south as this, but they were kind of in this region. We're only a few hours flight from the really heavy battles. Like a pond out there. Yeah, it's amazing. I think they've captured that aspect of things extremely well. Really good. Hey, look at that. That is some civilization right there. So we got the runway. I'd just drive around on my golf cart and eat fish and chips and drink ice cold beer on this particular island. Is what I'd do. Admire the thunderstorms. Look at that. The clouds sort of getting a bit. The clouds changing a bit. Got to watch the cloud in these tropical zones. It can get a little bit gnarly. We might be flying in the cloud pretty soon. That's the damn problem. Alright, how's the RPM? Perfect. 2300. Speed. What did I say? 90 knots. Yeah, it's alright. We are bouncing around a little bit. How's the damn fuel? Still got some fuel there. Temperatures and pressures are good. Alright. Let's have a look at the outside view. Local time, it must be about 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock earlier today. Quite a few islands around here. They're amazing, they just jut out of nowhere. It's great, so I'm flying over these two islands here. And I've already made it past that one, and there's the mainland, there's the end of the mainland, I took off from down here, so I reckon we're almost there. Quite stable. That's another good thing about high wing planes. They tend to be quite stable once you trimmed them out nicely. You've got that pendulum effect of the low centre of gravity and the high wing and everything. How much would this trip cost? $23 litres an hour. It's probably about, I don't know, $2 a litre. So, that's about $50 per hour of fuel. Such evocative scenery. I see we have a runway down there on that island, and there's a town there. So we got a town there with a runway, and we got a town there with a runway. There'd be so much fish in this ocean. You could eat so well. That tropical colour. I'd say you'd have some kind of intermediary areas that are somewhat like mangroves here and there, where you'd get turtles, crabs, many other things. Love training in the 152. It is a really good plane, I tell you what. I mean, its claim to fame is as a trainer, but it's also good for just flying around as well. I reckon people that don't use it for training, that own one, would use it for things like just, like, I don't know, like maybe farmers. I think farmers would own them sometimes. Probably buy a 152 if I could, but they're getting a bit long in the tooth. You can buy a brand new Cessna 150 or something, whatever they're calling it these days. But it's not cheap, it's like $300,000 or something. So, bloody hell. But you get a lot of plane packed into a small package. Currently at 4,000 and something, 4,060 feet. We're still doing 90 knots indicated. 4,000 feet we've got up to. It's 20 degrees outside centigrade, which looks to be about 55 degrees Fahrenheit, if I'm not mistaken. Really is 20 degrees. That's incredibly pleasant considering we're full on going on towards New Guinea, which is a very tropical place. green jungle down there. We got some emptying fuel tanks there. If this plane has a HF radio, I should be able to pick up some HF stations, right? Like the BBC or something. Get some tunes. I don't think Microsoft Flight Sim's that sophisticated. Wouldn't that be good? HF radio is highly underrated. If you get a yacht or a plane, if at all possible, you want to get a HF radio in it. Heck, you should just get one anyway. They're brilliant. I'm going to get one, I think, if I can, because they're really good. If you have a yacht with a HF radio, you can, from what I understand, you can pretty much talk to anyone, anywhere, anytime. So if you're in your yacht in the middle of nowhere, and if you're in distress or something, or you just want to pick up a song on the radio, you can do it with a HF radio. Amazing, huh? Sort of zoned out from the scenery a bit, but where are we? So we're... I'm a bit off course. Been gradually climbing, but I don't really mind that at all, because going over the sea like this, you want to be a little bit high up, if nothing else, so that you've got some gliding distance to an island. It's better than being at 400 feet, and you can navigate better because you can see further. The higher up you are, the further you can see. I wonder how much that island costs. If I was to buy that island and just live on it and hunt crocodiles. They'd call me the crocodile hunter. I'd have to actually be the shark hunter, because there's already a crocodile hunter. Love to see a sim of Cherokee. Piper Cherokee. Transition to a Piper Cherokee low-wing four-seater for flights up and down the US West Coast. Well, that sounds pretty good. Yeah, you get a long distance radio down there, and heck, you can probably get some kind of satellite internet these days, so you'd be laughing. Stuff suburbia. I'll buy me an island. There's no shortage of islands out here. You would have to take some precautions though, against the potentiality of pirates. No, I'm just kidding, there's no pirates down here. There's not until there is. That's the thing. Right, I have a feeling we're leaving the last of the substantial islands. That one has an airfield there. Could I land and get fuel? I guess I could, but I don't need to, so I'm not going to. That looks very tropical down there. Wow, look at that. You'd probably get some nasty tides, though. You'd want to know the area so well. Like, how much would the tide lift and fall depending on the position of the moon and all that kind of thing? Like, depending on the day of the calendar sort of thing. Like, I don't know, whatever, how the tide goes and everything. You wouldn't want to, I don't know, you'd want to know everything about all this kind of stuff. Would be a good island for a Vegas-style casino. Only joking, of course, but I'm only half joking. Cave, exactly. The whole island is your space. Don't forget to check 6. Yeah, gotta watch out for all the warbirds that can be flying around. I think I'm a bit off course here still. What's the DG say? Yeah, I am. I'm gonna have to just go like this. I think I've got a wind that's blowing to the left. To the west from the east. It's the real deal now. We're halfway between Australia and New Guinea. It's been a pleasant, uneventful flight so far. There's a Porco Rosso episode and we get intercepted by sky pirates flying in a seaplane or a flying boat. We should be all good. And then when I get to the mainland of New Guinea, I'm going to have to find somewhere to land. Imagine seeing one of those big aircraft carriers. I think the Japanese had the biggest one, didn't they? Was it the Yamato or something? I'll be honest with you, I don't actually know, but something like that. In fact, it wouldn't be by itself, it would be surrounded by all sorts of warships and supply ships and everything. We've got some cloud up here. And yeah, I can see an island in the distance, and maybe, just maybe, I can see New Guinea far off over there. There's an island over there. Temperature says that it's still about 21 degrees C, about 55 degrees Fahrenheit, if I'm not mistaken. There's quite a few islands over there. The mainland of Australia is still visible, but it's way back there. This is a very exciting flight. What if you ended up in that drink down there? It looks a lot different when you're on the sea level, because you can't see very far. You can see maybe about 6 kilometers. So So I can see that island good and proper, but if I'm on ocean level, you'd want to look at the position of the sun, or you'd want to have a compass with you or something, and then you'd want to have some knowledge of the sea currents in the area. It might not even save you, but wouldn't it be a tragedy if you had an island about 8 kilometres away or something over there, and you could swim to it? You'd be fine, but wouldn't it be a tragedy if the sea current was carrying you west out there into nothingness? So yeah, there's lots of stuff to figure out. Never has a flight in a Cessna 152 been so exciting. We're at altitude check. We're at 4,160 feet. The clock says it's 2:36 p.m. The directional gyro says we're going 10 degrees. The airspeed indicator says we're going 90 knots. The vertical velocity indicator says we're slightly going up. The accelerometer says we're at 1.0 g. The thing over there says something. All that says all that. That's the radio stack. You got a bunch of radios there. You should be able to switch those around. And those. And those. Or not. That one does. Com, nav. Oh yeah. These are VHF radios. That's your transponder. That's your flaps, mixture, throttle, carb heat, etc, etc. What's that? Direction finder. It relates to something up here. I don't think this is modelled, or is it? Something. Alright, so well, we're on course. Let's have a look at the map. Wowee. This is the scariest part of the journey, I think, because like you don't have too much along here. And if the weather gets bad, like it's not far, but if the weather gets bad, then it's a problem. Coast Guard, definitely, yeah. I don't think it's an actual Coast Guard. I think it's the Navy. But they have some ships and everything, and they're going around there all the time. Obviously, all this sea out here is either there'd be a line somewhere, and behind it is Australian territory, and beyond it is not. And I think Coast Guard kind of thing is particularly to do with making sure that there's not fishermen in Australian fishing territories that are not supposed to be there. Otherwise you end up with no fish. You can fish there, but not to extinction, kind of thing. So what do we got here? Can you see New Guinea? Whoa, what am I seeing there? Do you see that? I think it's just a cloud, but it looked a bit like a mountain. The graphics are slightly potato. I've got the graphics for the clouds turned right down. We've got some kind of a flat island up ahead, and over yonder we've got some big clouds. Check the map again. I guess I'll head to that island. Maybe I'll just fly a beam it slightly. Just go on the left-hand side of it. I'm sure you'd get locals that live, I think this area is called Torres Strait, I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure you get locals that live in this area, and they'd quite frequently get on their watercraft and go from island to island sort of thing. So if you had to ditch in the drink, provided it wasn't a storm, I bet you as long as you didn't get eaten by a shark or a saltwater crocodile, I bet you you'd come across someone sooner or later. We've still got some fuel there. Everything's looking pretty good. No problems. There's the sea down there. Sort of looks a bit like the sea in Cliffs of Dover, which is very realistic looking. Wow, look at that, it's just sea. So much sea. I guess you get used to it after a while, but I think the son of the guy who co-invented the scuba tank, the Aqualung, Jacques Cousteau, his son had a Catalina, and apparently, unfortunately, crashed it and perished. But that's obviously really bad. But the good thing is that he had a Catalina. I mean, imagine that. Imagine having your own Catalina. You could just fly. You just go wherever you wanted. The range on a Catalina, I believe, is really good. In World War II, Catalinas would fly from Western Australia all the way across the ocean to South Africa. And I think they might have stopped halfway and gotten fuel from a ship, but they could really fly a long distance. When I say stop halfway, I mean land in the ocean, refuel off of a ship, and then take off again. Again, you'd be fine as long as the weather was good. So it seems like we're just sitting still in the middle of the air, but really we're doing more than 90 knots. At 4,250 feet, and that's about 175 kilometers an hour. Well, the window latch is not modelled. That's a pity. Amazing how far we've gone from here all the way up the coast of Australia to the tip here and across to here, and we're almost in New Guinea. Wow. Where am I going to land? How high can this plane fly? Yeah, it can definitely get to 10,000 feet. It's kind of struggling at that altitude though. I don't know, I'd say probably about 15,000 feet. Always wanted an amphibian for camping trips, maybe a goose. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Amphibian aircraft seem ideal for adventure and for trips away, camping trips and that. Very versatile as well, because obviously it's amphibian. You can land on the water or you can land on the land. You got your choice. This island, a bit more cloud around the place. Got those thunder clouds. Alright, I'm looking at Google Earth and we're in Torres Strait. Another big island coming up with a runway on it. So I guess I could land there, but that's not, strictly speaking, New Guinea. Just change course a bit here. So while I'm looking at Google Earth, I've just gone round in a half circle. Now I'm going west. There's a good view of that island that I just flew over. And Australia is back there somewhere. In Google Earth, it looks like there's little tiny villages all along the coast, very small. Mostly it's just wilderness by the looks of it, no big towns. And no runways. Possibly they don't have possibly they don't have any big build-up of towns on the coast due to the possibility of earthquake and tsunami. Oh, that looks like New Guinea over there. I can see it. That island does have an airfield on it. I saw it on Google Earth. There's the big river that goes in there. There's a small town directly ahead. It may have an airstrip. Maybe I should just keep flying inland until I run out of fuel or until I find an airstrip. That's probably what I'll do. This is an adventure, remember? We're quite high up. We're at 4,140 feet. We're headed north. Looks like this part is pretty much completely, it's not uninhabited is the wrong word, but there's no big cities or anything there. Port Moresby, the capital city and the closest big city, most probably, is to the east from here, longer, much longer than the journey that we've just undertook. It's way over there, about 2 hours flight. So we won't be going there. We'd run out of fuel. Well, we've still got some fuel, but it's getting lower. The only place that on the map shows civilization is this island here. It has a runway, a medical centre of some kind, and a shopping centre of some kind. It's called Boigu Island. And its address says Boigu Island, Boigu QLD 4875, which is a Queensland address. Have I left Australia? It's not. How realistic is Microsoft Flight Simulator? Like, if you want to get some fuel, like if you want to stop at Boigu Island and get some fuel and then keep going, what do you got to do? Can you do that? I don't even know. I'll have to watch a YouTube vid about the subject of refueling in Microsoft Flight Simulator. We're on the lookout for somewhere to land now, I guess. Grab some fuel and a Chico roll. Sounds like a good plan. You'd get pretty hungry after a flight like this. This is not a long distance cruising plane. I mean, it has a fixed pitch propeller, etc. It's a really basic plane, which is good because it's simple to operate. can see the town in the distance. Well, I can see the location with the runway. Yeah, now the town is starting to draw. That would definitely be a good place to stop and get some fuel if this was real life, but I'm probably just going to keep flying up the river and see what I can see until the fuel runs out, and hopefully just find some candidates of places to land. There's a small town on that alcove there. It has some kind of a runway. It's not really a runway, it's more like a footpath that goes from the village to the sea, but you could kind of call it a runway. Truly amazing scenery. We're over an island here in the Torres Strait, and then over there, that is New Guinea. Land near an undiscovered tribe. There might be one, but if there was, they'd be up in the mountains, most probably. There's Guinea Airfield. They have a medical centre and a supermarket. Plane's wobbling around quite a bit. The turbulence is picking up. We've still got good altitude. We're at 4,000. Speed's good. The plane has been reliable. The only thing I'm cut about is the fuel quantity. Yeah. That's probably about maximum 45 minutes worth of fuel left. Probably more like about 15 minutes at the least, 45 at the most. I reckon I can see a town there. I'm going to head straight to it. And there's Boigu, there's the airfield, there's the town. You probably could get some fish and chips there. That could be a good place, I reckon. Or it might not be, I don't know. You never know, that's the thing. If you go travelling around in real life, it's the best education. It is really, travel is the best education. In my opinion, don't go to university, don't go to college. Just go travelling. Unless you want to learn something really useful like medicine, then go to university. That is a big river. Look at it. You could really sail your boat. You could really sail your boat right into that river, and then into one of the offshoot rivers, and you'd be quite safe from any storm. Things might turn out better than expected because there's a town there. I don't think it has an airfield though. can see why it doesn't really look like it actually looks like. Like in real life, it's just it's a village with a few basic huts, kind of thing, a few tin sheds. But like you can see it on Google Earth. But there, it looks like it's got some 5-story buildings and stuff, which is not really how it is. For anything that looks like a runway. Just me, or is that a bridge? Surely that's not a bridge. I think that's like a graphical anomaly. I really don't think they'd have a bridge, but I could be wrong. So we're just going to mosey on up this river and run out of fuel. Sounds like a plan. Probably about 15 minutes worth of fuel, I would say. I have no idea, but that's what it seems like. Well, I'm flying over New Guinea, so I've made it. It's pretty impressive. Imagine what you could do if you took a faster aircraft and you actually had full fuel. Like if you took a what are the other planes in this sim? Do you get like a Bonanza, Cherokee, maybe? Something just a little bit better than this, like with a constant speed propeller, maybe a little bit more horsepower. Like 160 horsepower or whatever, 200 maybe, instead of this one, which is about 110. And full fuel tanks, bigger fuel tanks. Instead of cruising at 90 knots, you'd probably be up at about 130. So altogether faster and longer range and everything. I'd say that's not a bridge, I'd say that's a graphical anomaly in FS 2020. It's like the Amazon or something. Fuel gauges are almost on empty. Well, I think we might have a few options for airfields. The question is, have we got enough fuel to get there? I'm going to just keep going straight ahead, I think. There's one straight ahead, and I'll try and get to it. My gut feeling tells me there's not enough fuel to get there, but we can try. Looks like it's about another 10 minutes away. Might actually do something here. I might reduce speed. This could be foolish. I'm going to reduce speed to about 65 knots. That'll be the speed for the best lift drag ratio. That'll get us the furthest distance for the least amount of fuel. Already started to lose altitude. I don't want to lose altitude, I just want to drop speed. Now the speed's coming down. We want 65 knots, we're at 70 at the moment. Slowly, slowly. I want 2100 RPM, I think. Down to your last few pounds of fuel, you want to do things right. I'm going to keep above 4,000. I'm going to keep the speed at about 65. Power's now good. Speed is... I just need to trim out the speed now. Altitude's good. We're back where I was before, 4,300. This is about as good as it gets with the trim and everything. Oh, is that cloud? So we've got a cloud base here. I don't know, guys, my gut feeling says there's not quite enough fuel to get there in time. So 65 knots is a good speed for this plane. It's a very efficient speed. I'll reduce the RPM a tad. Get just a little bit below this cloud base. Uh-oh, there goes the engine. We've just run out of fuel. So that's what an empty fuel looks like. Remember, I loaded up full fuel and something happened with the load up screen that when I got into the plane I had half fuel. Yeah, I don't think we're going to make it. Not to worry. We'll get pretty close. We'll probably land there. We've come a long way inland. Glide for quite a while. And we want 65 knots. We're a little bit slow right now. I reckon that's the airfield up there. There's kind of like a lighter patch of terrain. I'm guessing that that's it, so it's outside of our gliding range. There's something a little bit closer, maybe that's it, I don't know. We'll be in the jungles before you know it. I wonder if that's an airfield there, like an old one. We're definitely not going to make it to the airfield on the map, so I have to improvise. I reckon that even that's a little bit too far to glide. Speed's too low as well. We're doing 55 instead of 65. It's too slow. That's basically the stall speed. I'm going to need to deploy the flap soon as well. I'm going to have to speed up a bit. Clearing there. Too far though. I have to be right here. Yeah. Might have to do a flapless landing if I can't get close enough. Maybe 10 degrees.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Bumpy Guinea Fly through Flight Airways. I hope you enjoy your trip and you can exit at the door right now.
There we go. Welcome to New Guinea, guys. Wowee. That was a cool flight. That was a heck of a cool flight. You had the thunderstorm and everything. Oh yeah. Next time I do a flight in MSFS 2020, I'll try and get the better clouds going on, so you'll probably see clouds commensurate with that thunder and lightning activity. Big cumulonimbus kind of clouds. Bravo, cheers. Where's the tanker when you need it? Yeah. The plane's probably recoverable. I probably landed on an old Japanese airfield or an old Australian airfield or something from the war. You never know, I mean, why else would there be a clearing like this? This is legit, this is probably an old airfield. good landing if I do say so myself. Now, about that elephant gun, it's time to go wild boar hunting and get some grub. Maybe make contact with the locals and get some carver. Well, yeah, that was totally awesome. So yeah, I'll try and up the graphics for the next one. I'm thinking Krakatoa, the big volcano, or something exciting like that. Something good. Alright guys, well that's the end of this particular flight. Thanks for coming along. Like, share, subscribe. Check out froggyfrog9000.com. Bye for now.